last two, ready, fire.
Since we have a small margin of error, we have to get a finer sight picture. And then my trigger press has got to be even smoother so as not to disrupt that sight alignment.
It's real easy to say what kind of immediate response you get from a shooter when they're using a laser. One of the biggest things is proper sight alignment. It gives you something to index off of straight away so that instead of just the two in the back and the post in the front, you have that third that gives you the indicator, yes, now you're set. The old saying is that you pretend there's a laser coming out of the muzzle of the firearm, and you pretend wherever you point that firearm, that's where the laser's going. Now you actually have that.
Most people don't have great muzzle awareness, and that kind of highlights where the muzzle is actually pointing, especially if you outline it with a laser.
The things that you don't know you're doing with a gun when you're shooting and moving or on your draw, the little things that are going to take your game to the next level, that can all come out with a laser.
I think it's primary that you understand front sight alignment, rear sight, and be able to shoot. The laser enhances that. Their first instinct when they are faced with a problem such as an intruder and they have a weapon in their hand is to go like this. Not like this, but like this. With a laser, it centers them on the chest or wherever they're aiming, and I think in that context right there alone, it proves its value.
Fire!
When you look at the sight picture and you have that laser and it's right on top of the post, and you're trying to describe to them, okay, you got the two leaves in the rear, you got the post in the front, you want to have them nice and even. Well, that's fine. That's all well and good. But as you know, most new shooters, they're going to be trying to look at the target too, right? Well, if you have something for them to index off of right there, that little dot, that little red dot, and can you see it? It's right on top of the post there. Is everything lined up? The eyes are going to try to do it on their own. Everything lined up there, do you see it clearly? I think it allows them to have a smoother transition, to be able to see how it's supposed to look.
With a laser, the point of aim is on the target. So you can just find the laser and you don't need to worry. It's not that you don't need to worry about your front sight, but your front sight's going to be there. But you don't need to worry about it, you don't need to get focused on it. It's a huge advantage.
I mean, if it's on target, I can get that follow-up shot really fast. Running a laser. That's
Right.
much quicker than I can using sights.
Yeah, it gives you that huge advantage because you really start lining it up a lot sooner.
I was shocked at just how much of a difference having a laser made on time drills. I mean, when you've got 1.5 seconds to hit a target twice at 7 yards center mass, that is a lot harder than it sounds. And getting a crisp, clear sight picture is very difficult. When you have that laser, it's an assistant in getting that sight picture, and you know you're on, and you can deliver those hits accurately and quickly. How vital it is at night. I mean, you can't see 2 feet in front of your face. You can't see your front sight. But you have your laser.
Two-handed. Got it. Good. Oh, that's lined up. Good.
How many of you found yourself, because we're doing this hammer, trying to do everything faster? Trying to get out of the holster faster, trying to shoot faster, having shots a little bit lower.
It really shows you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Much more easily than you could see, but even the instructors, I think, found it a little bit easier to say, okay, you're being way too hard on the trigger because we're seeing immediately after your shot, your gun is going right down. And we can see that because the laser is going down. You're not doing a proper trigger press.
I immediately noticed every time that I went to anticipate a shot. I could see the laser center mass, and before I would go to squeeze the trigger, I would get that little bit of anticipation build up, and I would see my laser drop, which immediately told me I need to correct, back up on sight, and reacquire my sight picture before firing the shot.
Again, it's great for showing progress. If you're jerking the trigger or pressing too hard, you'll see the laser bounce up and down. On the draw stroke, we can see if you're coming up with the gun, down with the gun. Your management of the weapon itself as you come out to the target, all that is displayed when you use the lasers.
When the target actually identified itself, you know, my mind just went blank. I'm just focused on the target. I'm just squeezing.
Anytime you can inject realism in your training, I think it's much more beneficial.
You just need a lot more training. The more training you have, the better.
You really have to remember your training, and so much of that goes to hell when you go into a room like that. So one of the things I was doing was I had my laser on, which was invaluable because I don't think it would have hit anything. But that also caused me to do a little bit too much point shooting. In other words, I saw the laser, bang, instead of bringing it out, getting my sights as well as the laser on the target. That said, if I didn't have a laser, I would definitely not have hit anything. Depending on the light conditions, you know, we're here, it's sort of overcast. Inside the shoot house, it's even darker, but it's not pitch black. But if it were nighttime and you didn't have lights in there, you're not going to be able to see your front sight, much less, you know, use it effectively.